The government shutdown is the longest in the country's history with no end in sight. Thank you for joining us for your 11 on 11 here on THV 11 Plus. I'm Ashley King. This weekend concerns after the Trump administration says thousands of flights a day could soon be cut. Airlines are expected to reduce flights at 40 high-volume airports by 4% this weekend, and cuts ramp up to 10% sometime next week. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the cuts are necessary amid persistent air traffic control short staffing due to the shutdown as controllers continue to work without a paycheck. And as conversations to reopen the government continue at the nation's capital, lawmakers here at home met with the DHS officials to learn more about delays in SNAP benefits. THV 11's Maya Ellison brings us more from that meeting that many are looking to for answers despite the hold on federal funding.
We are delaying furlough until November 22nd or later.
Arkansas Department of Human Services officials addressed lawmakers Thursday afternoon. The news comes after DHS announced last Friday expected furloughs and disruptions to quote critical funds, including Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Programs, or SNAP.
We actually had news that we were going to pay benefits at 50%. This morning we got guidance that it was at 65%. It's not going to be 100%, but it is better than nothing.
That 65% Secretary Janet Mann said are the amount of SNAP benefits expected to be paid to Arkansans. According to DHS officials, while furloughs are delayed, funds administered to community partners through federally funded grant programs, like the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, have also been suspended.
These are payments that are being basically put on hold. Is that correct?
Yes, every recipient of TANF funds was notified that to suspend operations.
Probably fair to say we're at the mercy of the government right now, the federal government.
Questions still remain as to when Arkansans will receive SNAP benefits.
The only clarity we have received this week has been on SNAP, and that is very confusing to others because what about the other programs that have not been funded?
We had $800 million to give toward building a prison. Surely we can have millions of dollars to actually make sure that Arkansans are being fed and people are staying employed.
Our team at DHS and our government, we're responding as best we possibly can to a crisis we didn't create.
DHS officials told lawmakers they're still waiting for updated guidance from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, leaving them unable to confirm when November SNAP benefits will be distributed.
I mean, it changed this morning, so I don't have an update from this morning because we had to issue the new tables to the IT team to begin working on the files. That's why I don't have a drop dead date.
And the funding for SNAP comes directly from the federal government, so until we can get that turned back on, they're doing all they can.
In Little Rock, Maya Ellison, THV 11 News.
Other leaders and groups here in the state are working to try and help Arkansans from going hungry as well. That includes Governor Sanders, who joined in the food distribution efforts at Helping Hand of Little Rock this week. Arkansas Food Bank Director Brian Burton joined others in urging lawmakers in D.C. to end the shutdown before things get worse.
Bottom line for us is reopen the government, because when that happens, the floodgates of resources and our tax dollars are flowing. We're pleading and praying that the government will reopen soon.
With furloughs expected at county health centers and lower SNAP benefits going out, leaders at DHS will update state lawmakers on the shutdown plans on Thursday. The start of the long march to the midterms came this week, a busy one for Governor Sanders. She filed her re-election campaign for a second term, leading the state. The governor says she plans to run on a record that she says reversed trends that consistently showed the state ranked near the bottom in many issues. Senator Tom Cotton is up for re-election next year. The Republican chairs the Select Committee on Intelligence and sat down one-on-one with Karen Fuller to talk about the election and the ongoing shutdown.
The Trump administration has done everything they can to minimize the hardships on our families, but unfortunately over time the legal authority gets weaker and the funding runs dry. So I think some Democratic senators, based on my conversations with them last week, begin to understand that. I suspect this week it'll be even more real for them. And I do hope that this week we have a solution.
Senator Cotton will be challenged by first-time political candidate and former rice farmer Hallie Schaffner. She also sat down with us before filing to run.
We know that Tom Cotton's only economic policy is tax cuts and loopholes for billionaires and land barons and corporations instead of the millions of hardworking Arkansans. We also know that Tom Cotton just voted for the One Big Beautiful Bill, which guts Medicaid and SNAP in a state that is, again, one of the poorest, sickest, and hungriest. 1 in 4 children in the state of Arkansas will go to bed hungry tonight.
If you'd like to hear more from either candidate, full versions of both interviews are available to watch right now on THV11.com. Another setback for the city of Mayflower. This time involving its animal shelter. It comes after a wave of resignations from the mayor to city council members, the police chief, and also animal control officers. And now THV11's Catherine Rowley reports one of the biggest private partners helping keep the shelter running may be forced to walk away.
Compassion for Canines is a nonprofit in the Mayflower area. They also have been paying for vets who check out the dogs that are coming into the shelter. But all of the upheaval in the city hall now has them ready to quit.
And I have to say we've had pretty good success over the last 5 years. We've adopted out 1,200 plus dogs, spent a little over $200,000 vetting those dogs.
Dana Venable, who runs Compassion for Canines, says that over the last couple of months, city council members have talked about a time limit for the dogs that can be at the shelter or be euthanized. And that was her concern.
That's what it comes down to, that I would probably remove my services, because as a rescue, we can't step in and invest all of this money for the dogs to be euthanized within 6 weeks.
And in her resignation letter, former animal control officer Lisa Kosman says that she wanted to clear the shelter. Venable says that is underway and could happen as soon as Wednesday. But it was Kosman's role as an officer that made the partnership work.
And it's just so sad for the city of Mayflower to see a shelter, something that was not broken, a city has tried to fix. There's nothing broken with the system that we had.
Mayflower has had a problem with people dumping dogs, but through Compassion for Canines, most have been able to find their forever home in the Northeast. However, Venable says that she won't stop there. She says that shelters aren't the issue and is pushing lawmakers to be more strict when it comes to what she calls an epidemic in the state.
We need a change in legislation around licensing of breeders so that we don't have a lot of backyard breeders, and then also spay and neuter requirements. We have an influx of dogs across the state, as you mentioned, with not enough homes. We need to clean this problem up here.
If you want to get involved, there is one thing that you can do, and that is to have your animals spayed or neutered. That can really help with the population, keep it manageable, and can help prevent against dogs that are being dumped in communities. In studio, Catherine Rowley, THV 11 News.
Now over to an update to the fast-moving story that has sent a scare through the child care industry in the state. A fix for the shrinking reimbursement rates set to go into place. Now a solution has the potential for creating a happy ending. The State Department of Education announced September 19th that an unexpected cut in an early learning program required new reimbursement rates to child care providers enrolled in the program. Many providers said the new structure would force them to close and lay off workers. But after much discussion, the department approved new and improved rates devised by the state's Early Learning Commission. One Sherwood child care provider says they can work with that.
I feel like it is a plan where we can get back to business, and maybe not business as usual, but a new normal that will help us better sustain our programs. And so I'm up to the challenge, but I feel like this is a plan that if we all work together, we can continue business in the state of Arkansas for children and families.
In addition to the new reimbursements, certain families are now required to pay co-pays depending on their income. Those went into place at the start of last month. Report cards and grades for school districts across the state. We told you about the grades for individual schools a few weeks ago. Carter Thweet explains how they work and which administrators may soon be on the hot seat if they don't get those grades up.
We want to be clear and transparent and provide as much information as possible.
In a press briefing Thursday morning, Arkansas Secretary of Education Jacob Oliva said that's the goal of the ADE's new website. It grades schools and districts and breaks down the 5 categories used to calculate those grades.
The team, I think, has done a really good job going through and making sure that all the language is clear and concise. and that we can give accurate information.
The categories used for district grades are pretty much the same used to calculate grades for high schools. They are students who met grade level expectations on the Atlas test, students who grew at the expected rate from the year before, students in the bottom 25% who grew, percentage of students that graduate, and students who graduated ready for the next step. That one can look like advanced coursework, earning college credit in high school, getting job certifications, and more.
We have failed a generation of kids by letting districts hide behind individual school grades. So that's no longer acceptable.
But everyone's big question, how did my kid's school district score? Here's a list of several districts around Central Arkansas in alphabetical order. Benton, Lakeside, and Valonia got an A, North Little Rock and Pine Bluff got an F, and the rest were somewhere in between.
There's a pretty even distribution across the middle. Most of the districts are going to be in that middle B-C range.
As for what's next, Secretary Oliva says D and F schools will get specialized literacy, coaching, and targeted improvement plans. You can see the full list of districts on our website, thv11.com. A young man who marched to his own beat, living a full life despite tough challenges. After the break, how the University of Arkansas Marching Band is remembering a friend who turned his fight into inspiration. Welcome back. The University of Arkansas Band is mourning the loss of one of their own tonight. 19-year-old Jace Shute, a trumpet player from Benton, died Saturday after a battle with 2 forms of cancer. Lauren Spencer spoke to some of his bandmates to learn how they're remembering him.
He was a really cool kid. He worked hard, showed up every day.
19-year-old Jace Shute from Benton was diagnosed with both leukemia and myeloid sarcoma, but it didn't stop him from doing what he loved.
Of course, he was going through a lot, but he had that smile on his face. He came in and brought the trumpet section together, and he put smiles on our faces too. He brought us together as a family.
A biology major and trumpet player for most of his life, Jace was a part of 3 University of Arkansas bands, including the Razorback Marching Band. His friends say his love for music and for people was easy to see.
He was actually trumpet section leader at my high school, and I know that he loved marching band the most. So I think that he really loved the people in marching band. He loved his section. He loved these guys.
We do our little trumpet Christmas parties, and he was like the first guy to show up to that party by far, and it was at my house. He showed up before I did. And so he was waiting at the front door, waiting for it to be unlocked.
In March, the community of Bryant came together for a swab drive to help find a stem cell match for Jace. His friends say he never let his illness define him.
He didn't talk about his diagnosis at all. He was just happy to be there and see us again.
Now, those who knew him best are finding comfort in each other and planning to play in his honor at his funeral.
In probably 15 minutes, I had 30 people reply to that, be like, I'll be there with my instrument. It was awesome. That's what family is.
Lauren Spencer reporting. And we know from our annual summer cereal drive how much a school can be the first in line for keeping kids fed. We talked about the fear surrounding families and food benefits earlier. Bo Russell shows us the work to make sure kids are still getting fed.
For some Arkansans, sitting and waiting while others struggle just isn't an option.
So I just walked over there this morning and just went in and actually just told them I don't know what I'm asking for. I just want to see how I can help.
Kim, a woman living in Farmington across from a school, was torn by the news of thousands of families in Arkansas losing access to food.
This is, it just shouldn't be happening. So what can I do? How can I help?
After speaking with school counselors, Kim decided to sponsor a family having a hard time putting food on the table.
There is a food pantry at the school that is over at the primary school, but it's only open a certain number of hours in a day. And I'm like, well, why don't I just sponsor that family, through this program?
Across the area, schools are looking at ways to help students who might be suffering from food insecurity as a result of the shutdown, like in Rogers.
Every child in Rogers is provided a free breakfast each day. Our child nutrition program runs our lunch program, and it's based upon a family's income.
And in Eureka Springs,
we can feed our kids twice a day for free. We feed them a free breakfast and a free lunch, and we have different organizations that volunteer to come and pass those backpacks out to the kids. So that's helpful for the weekend as well.
While schools are doing their best to provide for their students, the effect of stress felt at home is evident.
Just uncertainty, all over. And that is, carried down through home and then back to school a little bit. Kids are a little bit more edgy.
Sharon Daniels with Rogers Schools say they are doing everything they can to provide mental health services during these uncertain times.
We try to connect them with mental health resources. We have it available in our schools, but we also know that the tensions are high in the home at night.
While schools are ramping up support for students, people like Kim are encouraging others to step up to the plate and help out. She says it can be pretty simple.
My Starbucks order is $7.80 or something, so I think I can give up. I can give up Starbucks for a day and pay for a couple lunches.
We've got the latest on the pitch to get a long-running national pregame show to spotlight the Battle of the Ravine. We're back after this.
We're inviting everybody. If you're on West Markham between 11 and 2 today, just come on. Now, granted, this was a week ago, so I'm sorry you missed it, but they didn't. They're on TV.
We're on point.
This week on Eat It Up, the calendar has officially flipped to November, and we are ready for some soul food. How about South Mouse Southern Eatery? You guys, this spot is unbelievable. It's also brand new, by the way, Catfish. Cheeseburgers that are smashed to perfection, chicken wings with the perfect sauce, and let me just say this to you real quick. Peach cobbler egg rolls. You gotta see these things. So what do you say? Let's eat it up.
It has been amazing, Hayden. We have been in business about 5 weeks so far. We started on Colonel Glenn, then we moved over here, and it has been totally amazing. We have served over 250 people, so it has been completely amazing. We did not expect the swarm. I am a true entrepreneur. I did hair for 20 years, then I went to teaching. During COVID, we started playing with recipes. We had a lot of time. And so I brought the idea to my husband of a food truck, and he was literally laughing at me. Like, are you serious? This cannot be. So I'm like, yes, we're gonna do a food truck. So we started preparing, and 2025, we are here with South Mel.
This is the hot honey.
So we wanted to have an authentic Southern menu. We have fried chicken, we have wings, all different flavors. We have pork chops, we have fried fish, we have what I call yammies, and we also have what's called smack and mac, because it is some smacking macaroni and cheese. We have cabbage, we have greens, cornbread. I like to change up the menu on some Soul Food Sundays, so we'll have a lot of different Southern food on Sundays than we have on an everyday menu.
I could smell the wings and how good they were. Oh my gosh. 2025, I'm proclaiming officially the year of the hot honey, and I absolutely approve this message. Did you see this smash burger? Not one, 2 patties, confirmed brie, 2 patties. And then you got cheese on each layer of the patty with onion, pickle, lettuce, ketchup, mustard. Truly amazing for the soul. Peach cobbler egg rolls with vanilla bean dip. That's the most genius idea I've ever heard. Don't you dare try to steal this idea. You heard it here first. Y'all want some? We got a lot over here. Y'all want some?
What y'all think?
We haven't stopped eating the hot honey. How are y'all doing? Y'all want to pull up a seat and eat a little bit? Come on. Homemade lemonade, thank you. Oh my gosh. That tastes like Lonoke County lemonade. That's where I'm from. That tastes like Lonoke County lemonade.
Students from both Ouachita Baptist and Henderson State packed Highway 7 in Arkadelphia this week, showing their school spirit and hopes of bringing ESPN's College Gameday to town. The two universities joined forces for a joint photo op ahead of this year's Battle of the Ravine, one of college football's oldest and fiercest rivalries. And both schools are trying to convince the long-running traveling pregame show that their game merits the spotlight.
We are ready for them to come to the Battle of the Ravine. They will see so much spirit, and they will see pure college football in a way They've never seen it before, and it's just an electric atmosphere anywhere. Nothing like it in D2. Nothing like it.
This gives an example of saying this is what college football is really all about. School spirit, two schools playing a rivalry at the end of the season, and to think it's the 98th Battle of the Ravine. So yes, it means a lot to Washington Henderson, but I think it means a lot to every small college and every small town in this country.
A couple of the top contenders for game day that week, a matchup between Notre Dame and Pittsburgh, Iowa State takes on USC, or maybe Texas versus Georgia, though the crew has already been to Athens. Here's a look at some of the football you can catch on THV 11 this weekend. Our sports team will break down the Razorback season up to this point with the Hogs on a bye. We've got a pair of games this weekend with Oregon and Iowa, and the Patriots versus the Buccaneers. Another rivalry brewing in Central Arkansas, brewing between Little Rock and North Little Rock. We've reported on bars and businesses closing in the River Market, including the Rev Room. Now Willie D's is set to relocate to the new entertainment area planned for Argenta in North Little Rock. THV 11's Catherine Rowley talked with boosters from both riverbanks for an idea of how this might turn out.
Came out of COVID and things were scary and everybody was worried, but the city, the property owners, the business owners, we all got together and we just worked to keep things thriving, and now we're receiving the benefits of that.
If there's something for people to do on either side of the river, I think that's a positive, and so seeing a new hotel come in there, that's great news for North Little Rock. It will also bring people to frequent the River Market eventually.
Kyle Landberger, the executive director of Downtown Little Rock Partnership, says that while it's always a bummer to see a business move, there are still exciting developments that are happening in the River Market area.
The city is also on the verge of announcing, they've already announced, but they're on the verge of finalizing a deal to revitalize Ottenheimer Hall, which will bring another $20 million to the River Market.
The downtown master plan for Little Rock was completed in mid-2024 with the goal of the plan to change the 30 Crossing Park along with adding more residential infrastructure to the downtown area. But that plan is also a big economic tool for the city.
This is really an economic development tool. And so if we can finalize that plan and then bring it to reality, that is going to spur an incredible amount of private investment.
Just across the river in North Little Rock, there is also infrastructure going in around Simmons Bank Arena. With two new hotels, Chris Kent, the executive director of the Argenta Downtown Council, is hoping that with the new economic opportunities, it will bring in more revenue for the city.
And we've looked at the property taxes that have been collected down in this area. And in the last 10 years, we collect an additional $1 million in property tax. Now that money goes to the school district, most of it. So it benefits the entire city in North Little Rock. So as we build the downtown, that money flows out into the rest of the city and makes it stronger and better.
And last thing before we go, it's starting to get chilly and RDOT is getting ready for winter weather across Arkansas. The agency's winter weather strike team spent time training here in Central Arkansas, testing snow plows, checking communications, and running mock emergency operations. Plow operators took part in a full-scale winter weather drill, running routes, testing spreaders, checking camera systems and GPS. The Arkansas Department of Transportation's Emergency Operations Center was also activated for the simulation, making sure statewide communication is ready to go when winter weather hits. RDOT officials say the annual exercise ensures crews are ready before the first snow or ice hits the roads.
It gives them the opportunity to drive out on the roads in live traffic, but without the danger of the snow and ice and the slick roads, because these trucks, whenever they're out there working, they're in the kind of a dangerous environment, so it gives them a safe opportunity to go out and get some experience.
RDOT says technology now plays a major role with hundreds of cameras and sensors feeding real-time data into the iDrive Arkansas website and app. Thank you for joining us for your 11 on 11 headlines this week. I'm Ashley King. We'll see you next week.